Fairy Tales of Westland by Norah M. Simpson. Fairy Foxgloves. Anna lived in Westland, where the mountains are so blue that you feel sometimes that if you went among them and stood on a blue spur, you would come away with a blue skin instead of a white one. Her home was in Kumara, where Richard Seddon lived, and her father was a mill hand, but had been out of work for many months. One Christmas Eve a few years ago, Anna's mother said to her, "Anna, I want you to take this letter to your daddy. It has just arrived and it is very important. The unemployment board are offering him work." "Oh, mother, that is grand. What work are they offering, Daddy?" Anna asked. "They want him to exterminate the foxgloves," her mother replied. "What is exterminate, Mummy?" asked the little girl. "To kill them out, to poison them," her mother told her. "Oh, what a shame!" cried the child, for she loved the tapering pink and cream and speckled foxgloves that were rapidly clothing the tailings and surrounding the country in a mantle of loveliness. She took the letter and set out for the bed on the Greenstone River, where her father was fossicking for gold. She passed the butter factory and the little spring where the purest water in Westland sparkles over the ferns, then round the big blue bluff and over the Tiramacow Bridge, and along the winding road that leads to the Greenstone. She had not travelled far along this road when she came to the place where the foxgloves grow in massed loveliness upon the tailings, and from the side of the road to the very tip of the hill, there they were, in every shade that a foxglove ever wears. Anna gazed at them with sad eyes. "You've got to be killed out," she told them. A clump as soft as mauve ones seemed to sway towards her to lure her to them. It was very hot down there on the road, so Anna climbed through the fence and up the stony hill to the clump of mauve foxgloves. They were very tall, and they threw a cool shadow over the big stone that the little girl sat on. "Oh, this is lovely. What a shame!" exclaimed Anna, as she reached up and slid caressing fingers over the silken bells. To her amazement, a tinkling voice answered her. "What is a shame?" it asked. She looked everywhere for the owner of the voice, but could not locate it. Then she put her ear to the ground, and the moment her head touched the hillside, she heard hundreds and hundreds of voices. And suddenly she noticed that there was a tiny fairy in every foxglove bell. There were pink ones in the pink flowers, and mauve ones in the mauve flowers, and cream ones in the cream flowers, and they all had tiny, tiny freckles on their little noses. "Do you always live here?" Anna cried. "I've never seen you before." "No, we only come at Christmas time. That's why our noses freckle," explained a deep pink fairy in a green peaked hat. "We are the Greenstone fairies, and we come here each year to ring our Christmas bells so the souls of the pioneers who made these tailings may know that they are still remembered," said a pretty little cream one with spun gold hair. "Tonight at 12 o'clock, you can hear the bells ringing, if you'd like to stay and listen." "Oh, I should love to!" exclaimed Anna. And then she remembered. She must hurry to her father with the important letter, and, remembering its contents, she began to cry, for she could not bear to think of all the lovely foxgloves and all the little fairies being killed. "Why do you cry, little Anna?" asked a mauve fairy, jumping out of the flower bell and mopping up Anna's tears with a wisp of green moss. Then Anna told her. Then all the fairies and all the foxglove bells on that hillside and on the tailings around about cried out in alarm, and Anna's tears fell faster than ever. "Put her to sleep, put her to sleep," called a voice from a pyramid of tailings opposite. And the next moment hundreds and hundreds of fairies hovered over her, touching her eyelids and calling in soft, sweet voices, "Sleep, little Anna, sleep." Anna fell fast asleep. She awoke to the sounding of chiming bells. She'd never heard anything like them before. They started very softly, then grew louder and louder, till all the air seemed to vibrate with the joyousness of Christmas chimes. Anna sat up and rubbed her eyes. "'Tis the fairies," she whispered. But the moment that she sat up, the chiming ceased. She did not know that she had to keep her ear to the ground to hear that magic music. It was moonlight, and down the road below her, Anna saw lights moving and heard a voice crying, "Anna, Anna, where are you? Cooey!" "They think I'm lost," she decided. "Here I am," she called. "Stay where you are," cried her father's voice, and she saw the light of his torch coming swiftly towards her. "Oh, Daddy, I'm sorry," she cried. "I went to sleep among the fairies." "My little one, we were afraid you'd fallen down an old shaft," exclaimed her Daddy, taking her up in his big, strong arms and kissing her. Anna was thoroughly awake now. "Your letter, Daddy, where is it?" she exclaimed, feeling in the pocket that she had carried it in. "It is gone," she cried in dismay. "Never mind, child," said her father, and he turned to carry her down the hill. "No, no, Daddy, the fairies must have taken it. Let me look," cried Anna, struggling out of his arms and poking among the stones and leaves. Her father laughed at her. Fairies, you've been dreaming, little one. Turn your torch this way, Daddy, she begged. And as the light fell upon the spot where Anna's head had rested, there, sure enough, was the letter. Anna pounced upon it, and then to her amazement and dismay, she discovered it had been opened and the contents taken out. Her father looked surprised, but he looked still more surprised when, upon turning the envelope upside down, he discovered written in pale green ink the words, "Dig deep where Anna's head has rested, and foxglove plants leave unmolested, greenstone fairies." Now some men would have taken no notice whatever of a thing like that, but Anna's daddy believed in the fairies. So the very next morning, even though it was Christmas Day, he took his pick and shovel and he dug a deep, deep hole in the hillside on the spot that the fairies had indicated. And before the day was over, he struck rich gold. The fairies were paying for the lives of their foxgloves with some of their hidden treasure. Anna's daddy, of course, did not kill a single foxglove after that, and no one else has ever been sent out to exterminate them. And that is why the foxgloves grow lovelier and lovelier each year, and why more and more fairies flock to the greenstone and throw out bits of gold occasionally just to keep the mortals occupied with other things than destroying their beautiful bells.